Hello, everybody. It is Heather and Deb here with the Skeptic and the Mystic. We are going to talk about something that is super pertinent today that you might not even know is a thing today. But we're going to talk about the Lion's Gate portal, which I will admit, as the self appointed skeptic, I'm like, what the heck is this? And like all these people, like in spiritual astrology world, are talking about this thing, and I roll my eyes. So we're going to talk about that.
And I think that's fair. It's okay to roll your eyes.
hmm
I, not an astrologer, but I am a nerd for the stars and how I can see that they impact us. I'm gonna I'm gonna go on the mystical side of this one because I can really freaking feel this crap. So that's what I think is always so interesting. But you were saying we were chit chatting a little bit beforehand. You're like, nothing feels weird to me.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's back up and let's talk about like what is the Lions Gate portal. Do you want to explain it or do you want me to explain it?
Well, I can try to explain it from a very high level, which would be so today, obviously, is 8/8. We are in Leo season. And
Wait, okay,
I,
what does that even mean? Like, I hear people say
oh, okay.
that, and I'm
Leo,
like,
okay, we gotta keep backing up. Okay. So Leo season meaning most people I think are familiar with the sun signs of the zodiac. So if you're a Leo, you probably know you're a Leo. I'm a Libra. What's yours?
I
Capricorn?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. So those are your sun signs. So we are currently
So, what's the difference between a sun sign and a moon sign? Because I hear people talking about the moon signs or like,
they're just related to where the sun and the moon were where they were aligned on the day you were born, the
gotcha.
day and time of your birth. And I mean, we can go down a huge rabbit hole. And like I said, not an astrologer, and I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know enough to get into the nitty gritty. Um, but yeah, if the sun sign is just related to where the sun was in the sky, approximately, well, where we're orbiting, whatever. I don't know the right terminology, but it does for some people really reflect in your personality. And I think even people that would like to dismiss it, sometimes you can be like, oh yeah, well, you definitely have the characteristics of whatever your sign is. So mine's Libra. I know one of my defining characteristics is this like almost annoying ability to see all sides. So that sometimes is perceived as indecisiveness
Mm-hmm.
because I can always see, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that's Libra sign is the scale. So we're always weighing the possibilities,
Right.
right? Um, but at the same time, my moon sign is Sagittarius, and as I get older, I feel like I identify a lot more with the characteristics that they would say are Sagittarius. So that's a whole different thing. Right now, we are currently in the zodiac phase called that is of Leo. The representative of Leo is the lion, which is why we're calling this the Lion's Gate. So this is Leo season, which is about the second half of July and first half of August. And if anybody knows a Leo, I love, 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 love Leo energy, actually. Like, I really am always drawn to Leos. Like, there's something about that energy that I really do love. And for the most part, I've loved this particular zodiac season. Aside from I haven't loved the last couple of days, which we'll get into. Um, but yeah, Leos are very proud. They're very like focused on um they're a very authentic type of person, right? Like a Leo is it's a fire sign, so they're going to take charge, they're going to get things done, they're going to go after what they want. They really do embody what you would think of as a lion, right? And but it like a peaceful kind of go-getter, right? They're usually very charismatic and people really love them. So this Lion's Gate portal is in the heart of Leo season, and maybe it's somewhere in here. I have a little document open. I think in particular, it's gotten more powerful in recent years because of the way things are shifting. And this particular portal represents, you had it written down, like what's the alignment of Orion and
So it's when the sun is in Leo, the Earth, Orion's belt, and the star Sirius are lined up. It says
right.
that Sirius is said to have the expansive qualities of the planet Jupiter and the drive to get those things done of the planet Mars, creating a good opportunity for manifestation.
Right.
And
Which would just mean when you put your intentions wholeheartedly out today, you have a greater chance of those being received, I guess. I always want to tread carefully there because I don't want people to think like, oh, today's a good day to write some stupid shit on a piece of paper and it's magically going to happen for me. All the other laws of the universe still apply today. Just want to put that out there.
And that's where my eye roll is. Wait, I just want to go in the comments. Okay, so Mary, I just want to read Mary saying that she is Mary. You're in Missouri now, or you're there for work? She said her dad was a Leo and her triplet nieces are Leos. Can you imagine having triplets in a house?
Leos, holy cow!
Right?
Yeah. That would be like hurting cats.
literally. Yeah. But like when this is my challenge with all of this stuff is that when people are like, oh well, this my sun is in this and my moon is this and then this, so I just can't do anything, and I'm just like, oh, Mary said that wasn't her comment. I don't see any names. I just see Facebook users, so I'm not seeing names, so I can't see who people are. And I'm trying to look on my Facebook to go through, but there's places that it's streaming, so I can't. Gotcha. You gotta register with StreamYard to have your name show. Anyway, I like when people like use astrology and they're like, well, I can't because of this. And like, I just hear them just say, I'm a victim because the moon is this and the sun is this and this and this. And like, how much I really have a hard time with people in victim energy, like in taking responsibility. And so I like the idea of, okay, just being aware of it and like, it can like use it for you,
not against you.
Yes. Right.
I'm with you there. Not as an excuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which that's what I can expand upon as far as why I said I hated that. I haven't hated the last couple of days, but they've been challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And having this information and knowing that I personally do feel a lot when the cosmos are doing weird stuff, because one of the things that all the experts, is that Charlie?
No, Alexa, disconnect.
Oh.
I'm trying to pull up on my
now disconnected from iPhone.
Oh my gosh! Because one of see, we're having technical issues. So like,
blame the portal.
Carmen.
Anyway, what I was gonna say about your excuses and victimhood.
Yeah.
How I see this information, having this information at hand as a tool, is that a lot of the experts, again, disclaimer, not an astrologer, but when I'm seeing what's coming up around this, one of the things that I was happy to see on some level is that people were mentioning that you could be experiencing some feelings of anxiety, which for me is not a common thing. I don't have a lot of anxious energy. I am not a big worrier. It's just not in my nature generally. And the last couple of days, I have been struggling, like anxiety over silly things and like, just worrying. I guess this portal opened at the end of July. I personally,
when did your anxiety start? Yeah.
Oh, just 2 days ago.
Okay, yeah. But then you said you had carrot cake on Friday night, right?
Which is you're right.
Sugar creates anxiety. Like,
yes, part of it's my diet. For sure, part of it's my diet. I will say a lot better yesterday because I did recognize the carrot cake sucked. Tasted good in the moment, sucked 12 hours later. Right. Different topic, not unrelated. I mean, as we mentioned, it's not just the stars, still a human being. There's still universal laws. There's still a human body that reacts to the crap I put in it. I can own all of that. And we're talking about the Lionsgate.
But this is just where I get like when people like start like putting on that, and I'm like, yeah, but let's look at what's going on in the other bodies, right? Because then they're
amplifying each other. Had I tuned into that piece, maybe I would have maybe even more thought perhaps this carrot cake isn't going to be worth it. Trust me, anyone who's listened to our podcast knows you and I both weigh the consequences before we do it. And I was like, I'm still eating the freaking carrot cake. But I also didn't consult the freaking stars before I ate the carrot cake. I didn't know it was going to be a double whammy, right? So anyway, regarding the Lionsgate and regarding any of your daily habits and practices and what you put into your body, I do think the stars are something that impacts us. And it can be subtle for some people. It can be heavier for other people. And related to your sun sign, all the different aspects that might go into your chart, you're going to be impacted differently by all of these things. Not to say you need to step into paralysis. Like I will say, even when people are like, I'm not going to book a plane ticket because Mercury's retrograde, or I'm not going to la because Mercury's retrograde. Personally, I wouldn't put your life on pause or not be able to function in normal human society because you're too ruled by that. Now that's perhaps not a healthy way of living, but being informed about how this might impact you, which for me, reading that this thing says, or that, anxiety could be a piece of this.
Right.
It helps me weather that storm a little bit easier not because I'm being a victim, not because I'm making excuses, but because I can say, oh, this is amplifying something that is normally, I don't want to say should, but is normally small for me. It's amplified.
Right.
And so then I can be like, okay, this will likely pass in a day or two. And perhaps I'm too up in my head about this, or perhaps I'm creating a bigger issue because I have other influences kind of weighing on me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a big difference between that and like, oh my gosh, this is what it said. And then like people just start to spin out of control because, because of that, instead of just like, it's like, oh, I have to walk upstream right now. It's the only way to go right now is walking upstream. So I understand that's going to be a little bit more challenging. These are the things I'm going to take on my way to make it easier for me because I just have to walk upstream right now.
Right. And perhaps don't pump my body full of sugar and fat, knowing. but carrot cake is good. I just want to say.
No, I'll send you my recipe. I haven't made a carrot cake in forever. Oh man. I know I've definitely started to see the difference like during full moons, like where my sleep is. I definitely have a harder time going to sleep. Like I'm definitely like, and but like this time, like with this, everybody's like this energy. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not spiritually connected because I don't feel anything, and then it makes me like doubt myself and doubt my connection to spirit source, all those things, because I'm not like feeling it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna like riddle myself with like, because I do know some people who are just like, oh my gosh, I can feel it in my left elbow and and I'm like, I must be dead. Like I must be dead and not feel anything.
No, I think everybody has different ways of perceiving, right? So I would think anyone that's like, but I'm not feeling anything, am I broken? I mean, it might be a freaking blessing.
Right.
Right? I mean, not that it's debilitating for me, but I don't know. Sometimes I think it's wonderful to be blissfully ignorant. Right? Doesn't seem like such a bad place to be.
No. My mom, would not believe in any of this stuff. And she's a nurse. She was a nurse and she worked in the psych ward. And she said inevitably, like there was always, an intake of people when, during full moon. And, this is coming from somebody who didn't believe in it, but she's like, you can see the pattern. It was full moon. You always had so many more people, coming out. Mary said, I have a hard time falling asleep during full moons, but then I sleep so soundly and wake up so refreshed. Full moon made me happy. Yeah. I get that, Mary. Yeah. And so, yet I have this other friend who's just like all this astrology stuff. He's like, this is totally BS. Like they're da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, but how does somebody like my mom who's worked in a hospital, like can say every month there's an influx on these days, and I forget what his thing is, and I'm not there and I'm not like over there. I'm like in the middle. I'm like, I can understand nature impacts us. Right. How can we not say like my dog does not want to go outside when it's raining, like and he doesn't even know that it's like I haven't even taken him out yet and he knows that it's raining, like he just has that sense. We have that connection, so I can't deny that it doesn't have an effect. I guess what am I supposed to be feeling? I guess that's my question.
Well, supposed to be is bullshit, but
right. That people, besides for the anxiety stuff, if like we're like really feeling it, what are the things that like
Interesting question, because again, with my disclaimer, I don't actually know, but what everything I read was more like, if you are feeling anxiety, then this could be part of it. Other than that, I don't know that there was any particular emotion that I remember seeing is necessarily something to look out for, but more, I would say, and this is only my own lens, is when we are in these moments where, it potentially is a powerful time, is to be a little more aware of your thoughts, your language, the energy that you're putting out, because personally, I think it does get a little amplified as far as what you'll feel in that. How can I explain how I feel it? Because I do feel things. I think everyone's experience is different. I feel things in my body, and I feel them often like in my solar plexus or sacral, like it's in my belly. I can feel stuff. Sometimes it's more in my heart. This particular cycle, I feel a lot in my belly, which I translate as, that's the fiery Leo energy. Like it's very like, go after it. And I do feel that. I mean, if somebody's listening I would love to hear other people's thoughts, because that's just my experience.
Right.
And it's very anecdotal. No, I've never asked an expert the answer to that question. I just know my own, how I sense things.
Right. So I had posted in my group earlier today about this, and in the Reclaim Your Energy group. And Jennifer said, she said, it's a useful tool, but it's, as far as astrology, she said, it's a useful tool, but it's complex. And a few people take the time to really learn it beyond their sun sign. She said, Lionsgate is a great time to manifest, as it enhances spiritual energy. The full moon on the 11th in Aquarius will be a strong one, as Saturn, Mars, and is it Uranus or I heard somebody else saying a totally different
Uranus.
Uranus. Yeah. And I was like, what? Okay. So she says, strong one is Saturn, Mars, and Uranus are involved in what's called a T-square. So extra charged and powerful for Aquarius suns, which is me. She's like, moons, which is her, and risings. That whole sun, moon, rising thing, I get what you just said, but the rising thing, I just still don't get. So, okay, so then I'm supposed to, like, if it's going to be powerful, then I have to be like, I don't like a should on people, right? But like, take some extra time on Thursday and, to meditate, to get quiet, to really with my intentions, like what I want to create in the next month.
Yes.
And like write them down or talk them out, or like do some kind of ceremony or ritual or something.
Feel into them. Yes.
This space. So it's funny, because I was saying to my boyfriend the other day, I'm like, I understand the value of rituals. And I think that as a culture, we've gotten so far away from rituals that I think it's sad, right? Mm-hmm. There's no marking of passing from, like, except in the Jewish culture, a boy becoming a man, a girl becoming a woman, it's like, girls, you got your period, and just totally skip over it. Like, there's no honoring different stages of people's lives. I think I think that is a sad thing, and I think that there's something to rituals. And yeah, I'm not a ritualistic person. Like, I don't do rituals. I don't know, like, so because I'm just like, let's just get it done. Like, thought it done. but maybe Thursday night I will go somewhere.
But also honor what your version of a ritual is. It doesn't have to be sitting around with candles and journals and, I mean, maybe it is for you. Sit here, think it, done.
Right.
I mean, I personally just want to encourage people to find their system. It's what works for me might not work for you. Right. And this idea of manifesting on a full moon, and the misconception around just sit around and journal about it. I mean, I do enjoy when I have the time. I also have a real freaking life, and maybe I have to teach a yoga class that night. And maybe I have stuff that I have to do on that day that doesn't allow for sit in the bathtub and,
right.
So you have to be a little bit realistic about it. But I do think there is some And whether or not you do it on a full moon, I do think it's just amplified on a full moon, partly because we believe it is.
Yeah, that's what I
You know?
wonder, right? Like,
Yeah.
I will say though, the more that like the whole astrology and looking at what are they called? Like the oh my gosh, totally mind blanking. And oh my gosh, when you look at stars and they're like, oh, all
The
those stars, like
constellations.
constellations. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. The more I look at those, I'm like, those people had to be tripping on mushrooms or something to like have those things come to them. They really had to be, because it's like there's a line like from one star to the other, and there's this whole outline of a person or something, and I'm like, it's one line to one line. Like, how do you get that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, well, maybe I'll need to just do some mushrooms that night. That would be a good idea. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to have their different ways of doing it, but I personally do enjoy setting aside the time when it fits into my schedule, and again, not rigid about it, to really sit down and write out, like, what are the things I'm working toward? How would I like to see my life unfold, right? And then what's the energy I want to put behind that? It's not just writing it on a piece of paper and cool, it's the full moon, bam, here it comes.
Right.
That's where I, like, and a lot of the stuff I'm seeing around, like, it's 8/8, it's a great day to manifest. It is, as is any day, but you have to be mindful of your intention, true intention behind it.
Right.
And then there's follow through. It's not write it on a piece of paper because it's the freaking Lionsgate and bam.
And you want like the universe
up.
like, shoot it down on you, but you don't do anything to change that.
Yes. And I will also say this works on both sides. So with this knowledge, if you're going to spend today festering in that anxiety and just like, oh my God, my whole life is falling apart. Okay, be careful with that also, because now you're harnessing that energy on a potentially powerful day. So it's just mindful of that. And if that's the space you feel like you're in this moment, if you're like rolling around in anxiety, it's not, I get it. You can't just be like, oh, cool, these girls said, let it go, I'm done. It doesn't work that way. But
no,
take the extra care. This is where it's be mindful of if you're going to drink alcohol or eat some shitty food, or maybe it would be really good to move your body and move that energy around, sweat it out, move it out, dance it out, whatever your version. That's probably a good practice today, right?
Yeah, for sure. Marion said that she said, I miss rituals. It's one of the things I miss about church. She likes your idea of finding your own rituals that are meaningful to her. Mm-hmm. And yeah, whatever like feels right and best for you. I think there is something to be said, and I don't think anybody can deny it. There's something to be said about like taking the time to just get clear, right, about what it is that you want to experience. And what I like about doing it like with each full moon is that in the world of coaching and personal development, right? It's like, what do you want a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I've always been so resistant to that. I hate writing out goals because when I look at my life, the times when I was forced to and did, nothing ever worked out. And then I was angry and frustrated, right? But then if I would just go month by month and say, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow the divine inspiration, and the divine inspiration might take me to that, but then the divine inspiration might take me over here to this. And like what's most important is that I'm following those little droplets, right? Those little breadcrumbs. And then, okay, now I'm here. And where is it going to take me now? Instead of like, nope, it has to be this, because then we're stuck in, like my coach calls them like a slave anchor. Like this, you're anchored into like, if this has to happen for me to feel a certain way, versus I am going to sit down, write my intentions. And my intentions really are about who I want to be and become. And that might happen by me getting this thing down here, but it could happen by me getting here. And if I'm not open to all of it, I'm going to miss out, on the gift that, that the world gives. And so, check back in a month. I mean, women have cycles that are a month long. There's
that's like, what I was going to say. Well, and that also, let's not forget how that falls in line with the moon is going to we each have our own experience also. But I like what you said about like, just the full moon could just be your marker. Maybe for you, for whoever's listening, you do a ritual on the 1st of every month or the 15th or whatever is significant to you, that checking in. I think the full moon in particular is a nice one because there is the metaphor of illumination and brightness, and it's full. Versus on the new moon is when the moon is basically invisible in the sky because it's blocked by the earth. So it's dark, and it's like the going within and kind of, the almost the retreat and the rest phase of, the cycle, which is necessary for manifestation. It's like you kind of have to put the intention out there and then you have to let it birth.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I always use that because I'm a foodie and I love to eat and I love to cook. I always say, like, you put in the order and then you sit at your table and you enjoy and you let the chef do their thing. Right? Because if you go up and you're like, where's my food? Where's my food? Where's my food? Where's my food? The chef is like, I can't make you this beautiful dish that you want because you're pushing me. Like, don't push.
Such a good metaphor. And also, when you want instant gratification, you're getting a shitty McDonald's cheeseburger.
Amen. Exactly. Real food takes time, one, to grow and germinate and stuff, but then also for it to be prepared. So yeah. I mean, so I think at the end of the day, as skeptical as I am, and I roll my eyes because I'm like scroll through Facebook and Instagram and I just see like, Lionsgate, these people that I, friends with or follow. And I'm just like, oh geez, they're like, I get it. Like there is something. And even if we just use it as a time to be extra super mindful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to kill anybody.
Yeah.
No. It's really good for us to be super mindful. And you put the intention out there and then just go about living your life.
Yeah. And I mean, I really have been started to enjoy these things even more lately because like on my demysticism account, I do a little daily oracle, which I just pull a card from any one of the bazillion decks I have. Sometimes it's just like a message that like, bam, came to me that I was like, oh, this needs to be shared today. But what's wild is how often I'll just organically share something and then I'll look at like, oh, what does the astrology say today or what's going on? And I'm like, that's weirdly aligned. Happens a lot. So you can start to see it as like an interesting tool for showing you when you are on the right path for you or you are headed in the right direction, right? So like when you see the post, it's like, it's Lionsgate, this is a powerful day. If you feel like you've been making some strides in your life, it's a good time to reflect and be like, wow, okay, yeah, I am. Like the things are working out for me, right? And maybe if you're feeling the opposite, it's an opportunity to be like, okay, how did I create that situation, right? Like, because regardless, you'll hear us say all the time, if your life sucks or it's beautiful, you've created it.
Right.
So
what's happening now is a manifestation of before, and you can change it. Like it doesn't just because it's happening now doesn't mean it needs to happen in the future. Right. I think both of us are testaments to that. We all have our stories of that.
Yeah. So you can look at these days that are such big days and just, I don't know, take a pause and look at what that is showing you.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's fun. I do enjoy this Lionsgate portal thing. This is the first year I've ever really heard of it. So I don't know. Is this?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know this was a thing last year. I didn't pay attention. I don't know. Or I missed it. I was asleep that day. I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah. I've been hearing about the past couple of years, but I'm still kind of like, okay. Yeah. So, ultimately, like, and having fun with it is find something that works for you. Like if you're the type that wants to, draw up a bubble bath and get one of those things where you put your book on top of it and,
I have one of those and I love it.
Then go and do that. I hate bubble baths. And so like, Mary says there
is Lionsgate movies.
Yeah. Huh. I forgot about that. I wonder how they started.
I do know that, but I guess I've never heard of it in this particular reference.
Right.
At least not as aggressively as I've heard about it this year.
Yeah. Yeah. But find something so that you can just sit down and say, like, you, what would I like to experience? Like, forget the what are my goals, right? It's like, what do I want to experience in the next month? Like, who would I like to become? Like, what's a different experience that I've had, that I've never had, that would be really fun. It may seem unbelievable, but, like, it'd be really fun if I had it. Right? And just, throw it out there. Like, let yourself, like, just imagine, like, not just imagine, because imagine goes with into our head, and our head can only
Yeah.
go as far as our head is gone. But, like, get a sense of that version of yourself who's experiencing that, and stay in that energy, for at least a minute, right? And just feeling like what that would sense and feel like if you were to experience whatever it is that you want to experience.
And I like the preface of wouldn't it be fun if, because then it gives you some lightness and it lets go of a little bit of the attachment of it's going to be really unfun if not, right? Just wouldn't it be fun if? It's still fun now, but wouldn't it be fun if that? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just have some fun with it. Like, none of this stuff has to be heavy, and you don't have to totally believe in all of it to have some fun with it, right? Use it to empower you, not, to disempower you. And here's the thing: if you don't believe in it, you sure as heck not listening to our stuff.
True.
Know that, like I said at the beginning, like, I roll I rolls a lot with a lot of this stuff. And there are some things that I've gotten to be like, oh, okay, yeah, this does make sense, right? Because a true skeptic will not instigate. they will instigate, but they will investigate. Investigate, and they are willing to change their minds when they're shown that they're wrong, right? So do your investigation, and if you think it's a whole bunch of horse shit, throw it out. Who cares, right?
Yeah, it's cool. It's not for everybody. It's funny. I was joking with one of my friends this morning because the things that I say and do these days, as far as like how I am into this stuff and like just recognizing through Reiki and all the like things that, like, I don't know, I just have like, sometimes I have the craziest conversations where I'm like, 20 years ago me would die if they saw the text that I just sent about like, you should go beat a drum in your office because I think those little pixies that we cleared the other day are still hanging out in there. I'm like, did I just say that for real? And I meant it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. Uh-huh.
I get it. I never thought I'd be talking about any of this stuff. So here we are.
Here we are.
But I can't, like I said, like, I mean, I've been proven wrong so many times, like with this energy stuff and energy clearing. I mean, I see, oh my gosh, this morning I ran into a former client, and one of the things that we were working on was her love life. And she had met somebody in the time that we were working together. And today she was telling me that they're talking, like they're starting to look at apartments to move in together. I'm like, I freaking love what I get to do, right? Because she was so in a place of like just feeling so stuck. And I'm like, gosh, this is so much fun.
Yeah. Well, and I know we've shared stories a gazillion times, but we first met at not a great phase of my life, and holy cow, is it like a 180 since then? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable, but also not, so.
Yeah. So have some fun, just like playing, deciding like, hey, maybe I want to experience this in the next month. Maybe it might not happen in the next month. It might take 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, 8 years. Like, who knows? Don't rush the order. I mean, I was saying to my boyfriend the other day, I'm like, this has been worth the wait. And like, I mean, I've always been honest, like, he and I have had challenges for sure. Like, but what I get to experience with him was something I always wanted to experience. And I'm like, I'm 48 years old. Well, we met 3 years ago, and we've been dating for almost 3 years, but like, it was worth the wait. Like all the other times of like, why am I single? Like, like I just kept, I put my order in, and
I'm putting my order in for something really fucking good, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, like he had stuff in his life had to happen and blah, blah, blah. But, and, but I had to live in the space of like, I am loved. I am love. I am 100% with or without this person. That makes a big difference too, because you're putting someone just to completely open them. That's going to,
that's some tough energy.
That's yes, a lot of pressure on that person. But you just put your order in and then just go and enjoy life. Like just drop in the order, go and enjoy your life. Have fun with it. Like all of this stuff can be fun. It does not have to be hard. But if you make it hard, just notice where else in your life you're making things hard. And maybe decide that that's what you want to experience for the next month is like experiencing things to be fun and easy.
Yeah. All right. So if you're going to set some 8/8 intentions today, do you want to share one?
I know that one of the things, so I did ayahuasca not last weekend, the weekend before. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that came up for me was just like, continuing to put myself out there, like being more vocal about what I do. I mean, because I know that my work is really good and I know, that it's powerful. I just don't share it as much. I really don't. So that's the intention, is to become more bold and sharing about my work.
I love that. That's similar because I did do a lot of journaling last night and this morning. And I really, really am embracing. I don't even think like it's happening already. The stepping into same thing, like my work and my trusting in my particular skills. I still have resistance around the word gifts in that sense, but I know I'm on the right path now. And so that is my like intention now, is to keep stepping through those doors, right? And see the doors when they're there, because it is happening. In fact, where I just got a request to do some more of the workshops that I do in a different location. And for a moment I thought, I can't do that. I'm so like, I do them here. And then I wrestled with it, and then just finally had a conversation with the person I thought might be a little bit affronted to say, like, is it okay if I do this elsewhere? I was like, of course, please go share that stuff wherever the hell you want. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So these are my manifestations. These are the things, like I'm asking for them to show up, and the opportunities show up. And then I try to thwart it by thinking I don't have fucking permission when I do. So it's stepping into it. Like it's and I wish that for everyone, that we could just step into that thing that wants to be there for us. But we all just, not we all, but it's not easy sometimes, or you don't see it, or you don't trust yourself to do it, or you don't think that that's really for you.
Not worthy, not deserving, not safe.
Oh my God, there's so much bullshit. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when this little portal closes next week, 2 weeks from now, we'll see what the last 2 weeks have brought.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have some like chocolate covered mushroom stuff. I'm like, maybe today is a good day to do it, or should I wait for the full moon? I don't know. We'll see what calls me.
Chocolate covered mushrooms, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it's like, it just looks like a coin, like it just looks like chocolate, but it's got
so funny. I'm so curious about all of that now, because I watched that whole series on Netflix, How to Change Your Mind. I've been listening to so much Aubrey Marcus. Did you listen to the one with him and Aaron Rodgers?
No, I haven't listened to him lately because I was listening to a bunch of other stuff, but I'll go look at it.
I think it's still the most recent episode, but it's one of the most recent. It was a good one. It's 2.5 hours, but it's good. I really enjoyed it.
I listened to Joe Rogan and his 4-hour one. So
right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
awesome.
Well,
okay.
Hopefully this offered a minuscule amount of clarity for anyone wondering about the Lionsgate portal.
Oh, Mary said that she watched How to Change Your Mind too. What'd you think, Mary? Did it make you want to go do some stuff?
It definitely made me curious.
I will say, and I've said this 1,000 times before, like I know he didn't talk about ayahuasca in there, but it definitely changed everything for me in my life. And, I'm not like a billionaire, and I'm not like, but like who I am and how I show up and experience the world is exponentially different. Like it is, there's just not that, like, I need to have this to feel this. It's just like, I'm just here, and like just a level of comfort in my own skin, and I mean, so many things. I could just go on and on and on.
Yeah, I'm so curious because I've never done it, which we've had other episodes we've talked about it. I know we're trying to wrap this one up, and of course it's a tangent, but be very curious if I do ever step into that opportunity to see what it reveals for me. Because I feel like I've done so much work, and part of like where I go back and forth on whether or not I'd like to try those things is sometimes I think, but I can get there through breath work. I think I've gotten there through yoga and meditation, but I don't know because I haven't done it. You know? So, who's saying, can we talk offline? I can't, I can only see Facebook user also.
Yes, Mary.
That's probably for you. Yeah. Because I'm curious about that too, but we don't want to put it all out there. Anyway, well,
okay.
I think the stars is fun. We'll close with, they can be a tool, but they shouldn't be a crutch.
Yes, and that's my biggest thing. Like, when I have somebody, on a coaching call and they're like, yeah, but I can't because this, I'm just like, stop giving away your power. Stop it. Yeah. Stop it. Stop. Yes. It's just like saying I can't because it's raining outside. No, you can. You just had to wear a raincoat. Like you just had to put an umbrella on. Like, stop having the shitty story that like you can't get wet and just say, hey, I'm going to go have fun in the rain. Right. Yeah. Like it's yeah. Okay. Yes, Mary, let's talk offline. And yeah, we will talk to y'all in 2 weeks. We're still Deb and I are trying to figure out times that works for anybody who watches live. We're still with our schedules, it gets a little crazy, but we'll figure it out. We'll just show up when we show up.
Yeah, exactly. Spontaneity is fun.
Have a good day, night, anybody. And if you're watching this after the Lionsgate, guess what? Right now, when you're watching this is the best time for you to put in your order and have fun manifesting.
I love it. Perfect.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.